really a farm town originally in the early 1900s, and then in the 1970s and 80s it really started getting developed into some strong manufacturing, taking advantage of the labor that was out here. It wasn't until the late 90s, 2000s that some of the farmland was acquired and developed into more institutional distribution type developments.
Elgin itself has been around for over 100 years, right?
1860s, the Borden Milk Company was here.
So you go back to the 1860s, which is fascinating. But what's really interesting is that I-90 was built during like the Eisenhower era. In the post-war era, when I-90 was expanded out from places like O'Hare, it was cutting through cornfields. It was easy to eminent domain it. What was fascinating is that the communities, you weren't displacing a bunch of residents, you weren't cutting through everyone's downtown, you were going north of town. So the zoning, to your point, they were able to say, sure, this makes sense as a business park. It's great because none of these trucks are going to be driving through our town. All of our people that live in these towns can work at these places. So in some ways, I-90 going in north of where Elgin downtown properly is allowed for all that zoning to be commercial, and that's why there's so many business parks right there.
Yeah. What laid the groundwork for some of the expansion into the I-90 corridor is a big part of it's labor, right? I mean, in today's world, you need access to good labor, both highly technical and highly skilled, as well as your standard, warehouse manufacturing type of labor. So, in addition to there being proximity to the airport at a relatively low cost, labor has been a major driver for both kind of that 80s, 90s trending as well as in today's industrial market.
And I thought another interesting fact about what really helped kick off some of the larger development out here was the riverboat. When they got the casino riverboat that came out in Grand Victoria, right? Mm-hmm. That was one of the top 5 visited places in Illinois, and they were kicking off revenue like crazy, and they put a lot of that back into the community, and that helped offset some of the costs of infrastructure costs for some of the new developments that were coming.
You look at the I-90 corridor, and probably because of that, there was an unusually large supply of developable, zoned, readily entitled industrial development sites. And I think with this boom that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, and that's what's led a lot of our recent activity and clients out here, is just the availability of land. And these are users that are coming out of O'Hare, or maybe even out of the Central DuPage market. It's captured a lot of that because the land was very close to being ready to develop.